Good morning, students. Today, let me continue with that neo-Darwinism which we have already discussed in the previous class. And in this class, we will discuss about the details of Hardy-Weinberg law or Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, which is also called genetic equilibrium. This Hardy-Weinberg law, it was proposed in the year 1908 and is named after the British mathematician G.H. Hardy and the German physicist E. Weinberg. So as they have proposed their concept together, this concept is referred to as Hardy-Weinberg law or Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, and it is also called genetic equilibrium because there will be the equilibrium that is going to be attained by the genes present in the given population. And it's very strange that here this concept was proposed by one of the scientists by name Hardy, who was basically a mathematician, and the other such person involved here is Weinberg, who is said to be a physicist. Though they are not very closely related to biology, but they have proposed a concept here with reference to the biology, especially with reference to organic evolution. And it is really a consequence of Mendel's first law of segregation. And here an attempt is made to establish a connection between gene frequencies and evolution. And according to Hardy-Weinberg law, in a Mendelian population, the gene frequency remains constant unless upsetting factors such as mutation, gene flow, genetic drift, natural selection and isolation do not operate. Or in other words, if a population follows this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, there is no scope for evolution to happen in such a population. Let us discuss the details later. Mendelian population is an interbreeding group of organisms that share a common gene pool, or a group of organisms that interbred among themselves occupying a geographical area is called genetic population or Mendelian population. And gene frequency is the frequency of an allele or a gene in a gene pool. And sum total of genes occurring in a population of sexually reproducing organisms is called gene pool, which we have already studied this gene pool terminology in the previous class itself. Then, continuation of this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. It was proposed independently, as I told you, by G.H. Hardy and Weinberg, and this law states that the relative frequencies of various kinds of genes and alleles in a large and randomly mating, that is panmictic population, tend to remain constant from generation to generation in the absence of mutation, selection, gene flow, genetic drift, etc. So in the previous class we have discussed about some of the sources or the factors which led to the formation of variations, and they are mutation, genetic drift, natural selection, isolation, gene flow, etc. If any one of these factors are operating in a population, it clearly indicates that there is some kind of changes are happening in such a population, and that led to the process of evolution. However, this definition as it is given here, it is the relative frequencies of various kinds of genes and alleles in a large and randomly mating population, also called panmictic population, which is tend to remain constant from generation to generation in the absence of these evolutionary forces or factors. And Hardy-Weinberg law describes a theoretic situation in which a population is undergoing no evolutionary changes. That means theoretically it is trying to explain the rate of evolution in such populations where none of these factors are operating, particularly in large and Mendelian populations or panmictic populations. And it explains that if the evolutionary forces are absent, like mutation, selection, drift, that will lead to the zero rate of evolution in such a population, or there is no evolution in such a population. And it also depends on the population size, that is, only in large population this equilibrium is suggestive. And it's individuals having random mating. So this is also one such obligation here for following this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, that the population should have such individuals which mate randomly, and each parent produce roughly equal number of gametes. So that means both male and female parents should produce almost the same number of gametes. That is also one of the rule that is there applicable to this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. And the gametes produced with the mates combine at random, and the gene frequency remain constant if there are no such forces operating. Then the genetic equilibrium of the gene in question is maintained, and the variability present in the population is preserved. That means there is no evolution in the population. And what is Mendelian population? Mendelian population is a group of sexually interbreeding organisms. That means such populations which practice continuously the sexual method of reproduction, they are said to be the Mendelian populations. And they are also called as genetic populations or random mating population. Definition: a community of similar individuals living within a circumscribed area at a given time and capable of interbreeding to produce fertile offsprings. So that is the definition for Mendelian population. And Mendelian population is characterized by individuals having somewhat similar genetic constitution or genotypes. What is gene pool? It is the sum total of genes of all the individuals of a Mendelian population, and a gene pool of a population describes genes present in the population, proportions of different kinds of genes, pattern of distribution of genes in the individuals of the populations. So all these are going to be described in a gene pool of a population. For example, if we take the seed-shaped character of pea plants, we should know the proportion of smooth allele and wrinkled allele. And we should also know how these alleles are distributed among the individuals, whether they are homozygous or heterozygous. What is gene frequency or allelic frequency? It is defined as a proportion of an allele in the gene pool as compared with the other alleles at the same locus, with no regards to their distribution in organisms. For example, a hypothetical population with two alleles, that is heterozygous A, on a locus where A is dominant, that is capital A is dominant and small a is recessive. And they will have three types of individuals, that is 1/4 of homozygous dominant with genotype capital A, and 50% or 1/2 of heterozygous dominant having genotype capital A, small a, and 1/4 of homozygous recessive, that is with genotype small a. What is gene frequency or allelic frequency? Suppose there are 100 individuals in a population in which 40 are homozygous dominant with a genotype of capital A, 40 are heterozygous dominant with a genotype of capital A, small a, and 20 are homozygous recessive small a. Then the frequency of A allele, that is dominant A allele, will be 80 plus 40 divided by 200 is equal to 0.6. Similarly, the frequency of A allele, that is small a allele, will be 40 plus 40 divided by 200, that equals 0.4. Thus, the gene frequency or allelic frequency can be calculated by dividing the number of a particular allele in question with the total number of allele present on that locus in the population. So this is how the gene frequency is going to be calculated almost in every populations, especially Mendelian populations. So Hardy-Weinberg law it emphasizes the equilibrium of gene frequencies, and it is normally believed that recessive genes are gradually replaced by dominant genes, but this does not happen because the genes show a tendency to remain constant generation after generation. There is a simple explanation related to this. A human example can be taken. There is a bitter chemical substance called phenylthiocarbamide, popularly abbreviated as PTC. Some people can taste PTC as bitter, which are called tasters, while some people cannot taste PTC, who are called non-tasters. So those who can taste it bitter, they are called tasters, and those who cannot sense it as bitter or taste is bitter, they are called non-tasters. And the ability to taste PTC is often treated as a dominant genetic character, and about 70% of the people can taste PTC, varying from a low of 58% for indigenous Australians and 98% for indigenous people of the America. And one study found that non-smokers, those who are not habituated to coffee or tea, have statistically higher percentage of tasting PTC. That means for non-smokers, who are not habituated or not addicted to coffee or tea, they can taste this chemical PTC as bitter in large proportions. And the ability to taste PTC is due to a dominant gene capital T. So tasters have genotypes homozygous capital T or heterozygous capital T small t, while the non-tasters have a genotype of small t only because it is a recessive character. And the frequency of tasters and non-tasters alleles vary in different human populations, quite natural. And Hardy-Weinberg law states that the proportions of capital T, capital T small t and small t will remain constant from generation to generation unless there is no upsetting factors like mutation, gene flow, genetic drift, natural selection and isolation. This genetical statement can be translated into a simple mathematical expression, that is p plus q whole square is equal to p square plus 2pq plus q square. And this formula is expressing the genotypic expectations of progeny in terms of gametic or allelic frequencies of the parental gene pool. And let us consider P is the frequency of the gene T, that is capital T, in the population, and Q is the frequency of its allele small t. And in a population of 100 individuals, there are 200 genes for this trait. Suppose there are 20 capital T and 40 capital T small t, that is heterozygous, and 40 small t that is homozygous. Then the frequency of gene capital T is equal to 40 plus 40 divided by 200, that equals 0.4. And similarly, the frequency of gene small t, that is of Q, it is about 40 plus 80 divided by 200, and having a value of 0.6%. With regard to this character, there is a random mating which can be shown by a checkerboard, wherein p plus q whole square is equal to p square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. And if you incorporate the values of p and q here, or substitute the values of p and q, you will get a value of exactly 1, that is 0.16 of p square and 0.48 of 2pq and 0.36 of q square. And this equation shows that the gene frequency remains constant in a population, and this occurs in the absence of evolutionary forces such as mutations, gene flow, genetic drift, natural selection and isolation. And evolution can occur only if there is a change in the gene frequency. So without any change, there is no scope for new characters and there is no scope for the new species formation. And that has been represented here in the checkerboard, where p is equal to 0.4 and q is equal to 0.6. And again on the right hand side, that is on the top of this checkerboard, p is again represented as 0.4 and q as 0.6. And if you substitute the values like this, you will get the values like 16% of p square, and then 0.36 of q square and 0.48 of the heterozygous pq. Therefore, evolution can be redefined as a shift from Hardy-Weinberg law of genetic equilibrium. So in short, we can conclude it like this: because if a population follows Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, there is no rate of evolution, or the rate of evolution is a big zero in such populations. So Hardy-Weinberg law is a mathematical principle which depends on the following conditions. Number 1, the population is infinitely large and mate at random, and no selection is operative, neither artificial selection nor natural selection. And the population is closed, that is, no immigration or emigration occurs, and no mutation is operative in alleles, total absence of mutation. And meiosis is normal, so that chance is the only factor operative in gametogenesis. That is, rarely by mistake or chance the variation should enter. And while these conditions are probably never met in a natural population, because always there is a possibility of one or the other change in different steps of this evolution, there is always the possibility of new changes or new characters. And the significance of this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium was not immediately appreciated. And in 1935, Fisher, Sievelwright, Dobzhansky and others started to interpret and to popularize the mathematical approach for studies of genetics and evolution. What are the significance of Hardy-Weinberg law? Let us continue that discussion here. Gene and genotype frequencies of different alleles of a gene in a population remain equilibrium or constant even after many number of generations. And mating is a completely random phenomenon in a population, and only large populations follow Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. And gene frequencies will be unpredictable in small populations, and all the genotypes in a population reproduce equally and successfully. And a population in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium do not show evolution. That means if a population follows Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, there is no evolution. That is what I already explained to you. And the other significances of Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium are as follows. The variation in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is produced by mutation, selection, migration, genetic drift, isolation, etc. And these are the evolutionary forces in a population. And if all these evolutionary forces are not there, then only in the population it follows Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. That means a population in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium do not show evolution. In other words, for the process of evolution to continue or to occur, the population should not follow Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So these are the other significance of Hardy-Weinberg law. So with this, I have completed this another topic, Hardy-Weinberg law or equilibrium in organic evolution, particularly in Neo-Darwinism. Thank you.